is full of thoughts right now. It happens to be 23:54 on the clock on June 5th, 2025. These days, I'm not so sure how to go about doing these things. I try to pace myself in order to make sure that I get out what I want to say in a clear and cohesive manner. And many times, most of the times, I'm trying not to use I'm trying not to use more syllables than I have to. I don't claim to have an extensive vocabulary, but I can manage. I can manage in most conversations. But as time has progressed, I've found myself lacking in the words that I want to say when I need to say them. And no matter how much I take my time and try to think about what it is that I want to say, I always find difficulty in getting out what I need to say. And not only that, but I find myself in a predicament where when I attempt to get out the things that I want and need to say, more often than not, I'm met with obstacles in some form or another. And I can't, this isn't something that I can just sweep under the rug any longer. Many of us are already dealing with our own individual issues and health concerns, especially since 2020 being one of the main ones. I myself have been dealing with my own issues, and it just so happens that I was able to put myself in a place where I could distance myself from a fair amount of EMF radiation. But it came at a bit of a cost. I was able to get away from largely congested areas and move back into the country. But it required me moving back in with my mother. I don't take any pride in that whatsoever. I'm not gonna even try to say anything in defense of it. That's just the way. That's the way things played out. And in the midst of me trying to get out of the situation, I find it almost as difficult to get out of as the situation that I left in the first place. And that in itself was one thing, but I gained in the two going on 3 years that I've been here, I gained a reprieve of sorts because I wasn't around Wi-Fi. I'd been around working in IT at my previous job. I've been around so much Wi-Fi that I didn't realize just how much it was hampering me. And now that I'm in a situation where Wi-Fi has been reintroduced, its effects can be immediately felt. There's no question about it. I know what I felt beforehand and what I'm feeling now with Wi-Fi at the house. It's like night and day. I don't know just I can't speak as much on it as I want to because there's a lot to be covered in the conversation, and it could be approached from multiple perspectives. But as it stands, I'm staying with people who have added Wi-Fi back to the house, and I don't think it's sustainable for me to remain here. It already wasn't, but it's even more apparent now. And not in. Interestingly enough, I don't think that my departure is something that's wanted by anybody that's here. That I don't think that's a difficult thing to wrap your head around if you really consider it. But yeah, and going from having a stable job and needing to leave that situation in the midst of uh, the pandemic, I wound up in unemployment and began staying with my mother. And I find myself in a predicament where I am in somewhat of a cyclical pattern by jumping from one place to another with vastly different conditions, but the behavior of the characters around me remain to be largely the same, and that happens to be to keep me in place. Um, I believe I can provide more in terms of context, but as it stands, this is where I am in my life right now. And I think more than anything, I'm in need of support. And it's not the kind of support that an NPC can provide. Because I'm aware that many of the people who are NPCs can provide support in a sense, but at the same time, when their behavior doesn't always make sense, I have enough sense to not attribute that to innocence. And it would be wrong of me to it'd be wrong of me to pretend like that, to pretend like that's okay when children's innocence is on the line. But um, that's another conversation. I just kind of wanted to speak on my predicament and give a bit more detail as to my situation. And if you've been able to make it to this point, I thank you for listening. And yeah, until next time, peace.